Amaziah, son of Joash, becomes king. His life is a story of partial obedience, good intention mixed with arrogance, and a final collapse because he stops listening to God, okay? So Amaziah begins with partial obedience. So he is 25 years old when he becomes king and reigns 29 years. The verdict on his life is he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, but not wholeheartedly, okay? This is the theme of the entire chapter. He obeys God, but not fully. He seeks God, but not consistently. He wins battles, but then turns into idols, okay? Turns to idols. Half-hearted devotion is still disobedience, okay? Alright, yeah. You can't be like on the top of the wall. You gotta choose your side. So Amaziah executes the murders of his father. Let's check this one out. He puts to death the officials who assassinated his father Joash, but he obeys the law of Moses by not killing their children, which shows some righteousness. Each will die for their own sins. Amaziah respects God's law, at least at first. The third part of this chapter covers Amaziah prepares to fight Edom. Amaziah assembles 300,000 soldiers from Judah, but he also hires 100,000 mercenaries from Israel, the northern kingdom, for 100 talents of silver. This is a mistake. Israel is fully of idolatry, okay? A prophet warns him, King, do not let Israeli troops go with you, for the Lord is not with Israel. If Amaziah uses them, he will lose. So Amaziah is concerned. What is his concern? But what about the 100 talents I paid? The prophet replies, the Lord can give you much more than that. Faith often requires letting go what looks like a bad investment, okay? Trusting God to replace what you lose, right? So Amaziah obeys and dismisses the Israeli troops. The mercenaries leave angrily and later cause trouble. So let's check this part here where it says victory over Edom. So Amaziah leads his army to the Valley of Salt and wins a great victory, okay? He kills 10,000 Edomites and another 10,000 are taken captive and thrown from a cliff, wiping out a major threat. When Amaziah obeys God, he wins, okay? So then he falls into idolatry. Let's check. After God gives him victory, Amaziah commits a shocking sin. He brought back the gods of the people of Seir and bowed down to Dan. Holy crap, man. He worships the false gods of a nation he just defeated, okay? This is a spiritual insanity. Pride blinds him, okay? Instead of thanking God, he adopts the idols of his enemies. What are you thinking about? Right? So the prophet rebukes him and Amaziah rejects it. So it goes like this. God sends a prophet. Why do you consult these people gods, which could not save their own people from your hand? Amaziah becomes angry. Since when have we appointed you to advise the king? Stop. The prophet replies, I know God has determined to destroy you because you will not listen. Okay? Amaziah shows the same flaw as his grandfather Joash. Once in power, he stops listening to God. Oh man. So Amaziah challenges Israel and is defeated. Amaziah, puffed up with pride, challenged northern Israel to war, but King Jehoash of Israel warns him with a parable. A thistle challenge of a cedar. Don't pick a fight you can't win. But Amaziah refuses to listen. Israel invades Judah, defeats Amaziah, breaks down part of Jerusalem's wall, and loots the temple of palace. Okay, so God allows this emulation because Amaziah rejects his word. And then he's finally assassinated. Amaziah lives 15 years after the defeat, but eventually conspirators kill him while he is in hiding, okay? Though he was king, he is buried in Jerusalem's tombs, but his legacy is tarnished, okay? So a king who starts well ends in shame because his obedience was never wholehearted. Another king with a tragic end, right? So what are the key lessons from this chapter? The first lesson is God's wants wholehearted obedience, okay? Half-hearted faith leads to full destruction. Second lesson, obedience may cost you something, but God repays. The prophet told him, God can give you much more than that. Third lesson, success can lead to spiritual pride. Amaziah turned to idols after God gave him victory. Fourth lesson, rejecting correction leads to judgment. Amaziah silenced the prophet and sealed his fate. Fifth lesson, pride makes you fight battles you cannot win. His arrogant challenge to Israel destroyed Judah. Sixth lesson, God beginnings don't guarantee God endings, okay? Amaziah's reign is a warning. Do not start with God and finish in pride, okay? So in summary, this chapter, Amaziah begins with partial obedience and some respect for God's law. He wins a major victory because he listens to a prophet, but later falls into foolish pride. He worships the gods of Edom, rejects prophetic correction, picks a fight with Israel, loses catastrophically, and is eventually assassinated. His life illustrates the danger of half-hearted faith and arrogance after success.